Oh, goody. It looks like we're live. Okay. Hi, everyone. Howdy. It's Leslie Hassler with your Biz Rules Business Coaching. Back for a little musings, if you will, afternoon musings. How do you like my background? I decided I wanted something a little more exciting than my office background. Plus, I spend a lot of time in my office. So I decided we'd find another part of the house to be able to enjoy and connect with you today. And did you see what we're talking about today, like in the headline? So we're talking about what do Henry Ford and Yoda have in common? And that probably in your brain, you're like, nothing. I can't even begin to think what they have in common, but they do have one thing in common that we're going to share today. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that applies to small business and some of the things that, I'm going to say intuition. I won't say 110% fact-based, but some of the things I really feel are coming, and some of the things that we need to be preparing for in our small businesses. And we'll start that off kind of with Henry Ford and Yoda because of their philosophy that they shared, and why it's so important. So you probably, if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't know, are you Star Wars or you Star Trek? I'm a bit of both, but I'm probably more Star Trek. But my family is all Star Wars, so I'm the rebel of the group. But Yoda, Star Wars, says, do or do not. There is no try, right? And then Henry Ford, his commonality in sharing that same belief is whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And that is huge. Right? It makes all the difference. And here's why. I'm going to give you, when I'm talking to business owners and we're just talking about, can we work together? Would I bring value? Where are they trying to grow? Are we in alignment with our values and our where we want to, how we believe in doing things? All of that. There's one little thing, like everyone's so worried all the time that I'm going to judge where they are. So not my job to judge where you are. Right? What I am listening for is your words and the word choices that you make when you tell me the story of your business. And a lot of it has to do with Henry Ford. Do you believe you can or do you believe you can't? Because when I hear can't, won't work, never would happen, not in my industry, all of those more negative things, I know that our work together won't produce the results. And here's why. Like, you can take two business owners. Let's just hypothetically say they have the exact same business, and nobody does. I get it. Hypothetically, though, at the exact same business, and they do the exact same things. One succeeds and one does not. What does it come down to? It comes down to their belief. The one that succeeds knows. I mean, just like in their belly and their heart of heart knows that it's a can. The can't will always get in their own way, right, to prove themselves right. And it's not a conscious thing. It's just what we do as humans. It's a human thing, right? So whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're going to be exactly right. And right now, as we are starting to see the shakeout happen in small business economy, that is going to be a big determiner. It's going to be the difference between those who change and evolve and succeed. Not that they won't have the learnings, but ultimately they'll succeed, and those that don't. So I want you to just even today, just check your belief. Check your belief. And here's the interesting thing I see in small business owners right now is that we're holding hope. We're holding hope that everything will be okay, that we won't have to lay off staff. We're holding hope that the clients will be there and that money will start to flow again and all of that hope. But that hope is really, behind that hope is a lot of doubt and a lot of worry and a lot of concern and a lot of, I'll say, like, distrust. What has happened in our marketplace actually has been happening for a while. The change, the change in the nature of business and how we do business. Hey, Jolene, you did. I know. It's really easy. is so easy. Yesterday I was talking about my own doubts and my own questioning. COVID is shaking us in our belief systems because we've never been here before, but also because when we have been in similar situations, say recessions, right? That is, we know that it'll come back because we've done this before. And our world honestly has come back from things like COVID, from the Spanish flu, from, all these epidemics that have happened in our past, but they're not a part of our story that we can relate to right now. And so I think that's why, Jolene, to your comment, I think that's why there is hope, but there's a lot of doubt right now. And it's that doubt that concerns me, because if it takes over, like if you're 80% hopeful, 10% doubtful, and 10% really just unsure, you're going to be fine. Don't worry. This isn't 100 all or nothing kind of a thing. But once the doubt takes over the hope, like once the doubt reaches past 50%, then I worry about self-fulfilling prophecies of creating situations that prove that feeling, because really and truly that's what we do as humans, is we prove ourselves right. We don't like to be wrong too much, do we? So when you look at things like hope and can and can't, check your language, check what you're doing. I want to give you hope because I do believe in hope. I do have absolute faith that we will come out of this. I think our world is going to look completely different, and that transformation is going to be bumpy. It's going to be bumpy because it involves more than just one subset of our population. It involves all of us in more than one way, more than just COVID, interracial relations and cultural shifts and elections and political beliefs, and the whole thing is in shakeup. Turmoil was the word we used yesterday, right? We'll come out of this, but your attitude really matters, because it's not a short-term thing. I think we're in it for the long ride. And there's a couple of things that I really think we need to pay attention to. So when I call it the cash flow mask. So if you can imagine that you've got this mask over your face, and then somebody just takes this thin little veil and they pull it from your face, and suddenly you can see clear. Maybe that's what LASIK surgery is like. I think we've had a cash flow mask because we have been in a period of prosperity. We have been in a period of amazing things happening, business models coming on board and just becoming unicorns in their industries, more so than we've seen in our relative history, our personal memory. I think this has happened before. And when it's happened before, it has really, if you think even back to the Industrial Revolution, we're on the precipice of an entirely different revolution. And COVID has taken the mask off of our eyes to see what is actually happening in our business. And so the cash flow mask basically is that you've had enough coming in and going out, and there's been enough of a consistent flow. I'll make a smaller circle, consistent flow, that it is masked what's actually there. Okay, so what's there needs work. And just straight across the board, everything I can see, just what's there needs work. So the hope and prayer and the wait and see isn't going to be helpful to you. It really is, now is the time to get to work on those foundations and those fundamentals so that you can be and grow to wherever you would like to be. So when we look at what this next revolution is, I'll give you the story because I saw it here in Dallas. So last week I was driving from Dallas to Fort Worth to go to a client's office for strategic planning. We missed Q2 because we were just in strategic maneuvering, right, after what was happening in March. So we're really looking at what's happened so far this year, and what do we need to do to course correct even more? Where can we grow? Where are opportunities to grow? And I was on my way there, and I take the expressways because I kind of like it. It feels like my personal freeway. That's just a little joy I give to myself. But so I'm in the expressways, and there's two trucks. right? And I'm in the left lane. I'm behind one truck, and there's the other semi truck in the right hand lane, and they're here, and I'm like, I'm waiting, right? But my exit's just right up the board, so a couple miles away. So I'm waiting for these trucks to pass each other, and the truck in the left hand lane passes the right lane truck, and I'm waiting for him to get over so I can pass him. Because that's typically what happens. Two trucks pass themselves. The one that did the passing moves over. And the truck doesn't get over. And I'm like, well, that's weird. When's it going to get over? And I'm like, well, I have to get over anyways because my exit's coming up. And I figured maybe there's a car in the right-hand lane. Get over. There's no one. There's no one in the lanes at all. So I'm like, well, this is really weird because this is not the behavior that I know truckers to do when they're driving. And as I passed them, I look back and I was like, there's no driver. I'm like, what? There's no driver. I'm like, oh, it's an automated semi. Okay, that's just as cool can be. But let's just take that as an example. Automation, right? Machine learning, AI. We have it happening all over the place. And you're in one of two camps. You're either like at the early edges trying to break new boundaries, or you're looking at this and going, crap, this is going to kill my business. And everything in between. And it's all true. It's all true. It's going to kill some businesses. It's going to shake up some businesses. And there are businesses that are going to be on the leading edge that are really going to create new boundaries for ourselves. The same thing happened in the Industrial Revolution, right? So we're at this point in time where even like the informational revolution, which is invent the internet and having access to information and all that stuff, still didn't shift our economy like I think this is going to shift our economy. Now, we have a lot of things. Maybe we'll talk about hiring and workforce trends and things coming at force. So we have a couple of countering trends that I don't know what that means or what it's going to do. But basically, if we've got the aging of our population and a huge percentage of the population over the next 20 years leaving the workforce, right? The population behind isn't as large. So I'm curious, like the job loss that we might see short term, is that going to shake out in the end? But that's another conversation. I digress. Really makes sense. Oh, almost impossible to find truckers. It is. But you know what's interesting for truckers is it's like the number one occupation for people that have maybe high school educations or even just like GEDs and things, and you can make great money doing it. But that's going to change. And so trucking is, thank you for bringing me back to that, Jolene. Trucking is a fundamental to our economy, the transportation of goods. It is that underbelly thing that you don't really think of. You don't really think of if I've got a product that I order from Amazon and it ships from Minnesota, we're going to have a truck that takes it to the airport, right? And then it transfers at the airport. And then there's going to be another truck that takes it from the airport to the distribution center. There's so much of our marketplace and our economy that really relies on trucking, right? It's kind of like, it's right up there with energy for me. So that's going to have this automation that's happening. It's going to have a huge impact. And like Jolene was saying, finding is impossible to find truckers. It's probably one of the reasons that we're looking at automation. And as we get into industries where we can't find skilled people to do these jobs, they're going to turn to automation more and more. So it's almost a self-fulfilling yin and yang kind of thing, chicken and egg, right? Conversation. But this automation, right, it's just one example of all the trends that are actually happening right now to change the marketplace, to change how clients access information, to change the whole cost structure, to decentralize and democratize. I mean, I could go on for days about this. The point is, have you been paying attention? Have you been thinking forward enough in your business to really go, what is that thing? What is that thing that would put us out of business? I'm going to talk later on this week about Microsoft's journey and what they did early on in their career or in their, I guess, their history as a company, and how they did it really well and how they didn't do it really well, and totally different outcomes to circumstances and evolutions in the marketplace. So this change is here, not going anywhere. In fact, it's only been happening at a faster and faster rate, called Moore's Law, which is actually, anyways, it's about the speed of technology, right? We know technology has been progressing. Netflix, for goodness sake, Blockbuster, still in my brain. Things are shifting. COVID has given us a pause to see the change, to really go, oh, I thought I had time, but I don't really. It's here. That is one of the biggest considerations to think about right now. And so as our marketplace, that was my dog walking underneath the camera, as our marketplace is shifting, as our marketplace is changing, how are you going to change with it? Amazon just delivered. They knew we were doing this. Hold on. Close that door. How is your business going to change? How are you going to think ahead? And will you have a can attitude towards it? Or will you have a can't attitude towards it? Because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So that's it for today, guys. Hey, if you want notifications of our lives and when we go live, I'm not really choosing a certain time during the day because, like you, I run my own business and my kids are home for summer and all that stuff. So I have to be a little fluid. So if you want notifications when we go live, there's a link in the comments part of the post, or actually the post part up at the top. Just click there. It's a Facebook Messenger. That is what that's for. So you only get those notifications when I go live, and then after we've been live with the link to be able to watch it. That's all that's for. So go ahead and get those notifications so you don't miss our next episode. And if you have questions or comments, Jolene, thanks for playing along with us today. I love it. That's one of the things I miss about in real life speaking, is just being able to interact with the small business owners in the audience. So please, if you're seeing this post, let us know what your comments are. Let us know what your thoughts and questions are, and we'll be sure to answer them the next time. So Leslie Hassler, Your Biz Rules. We'll see you tomorrow.